Computer. Next. Take it. Take it. Computer. Stop. All right. Let's get right to it. Let's see here. Found you from the Other People's Lives podcast. Yes, Other People's Lives podcast is out with myself. If you guys want to check that out, make sure you do a search for Other People's Lives podcast, and then Colgate will be there. I just did a interview with them a few weeks ago, so that's out right now for you guys to check out. Definitely get to it. Boland, pleasure to have you here. Welcome, and let us know what you thought about the podcast. I haven't listened to it myself, but I'm going to be doing so tonight. So let me know what you thought about it, and we'll talk. Let's see here. Best opener and neg to use at a strip club. Let's dive right in. Strip club game. Is it any different than nightclub game or just regular outing venue game? And the answer is yes, it is different. It's not harder, but it's different. It's different in the way that you don't have to approach the girls. The girls are going to come and approach you. So already that changes the dynamic of things. Second, when the girls come to talk to you, you cannot rely on IOIs or indicators of interest, because those will be false indicators of interest due to her work. So the best way to talk to an exotic dancer is to cut her thread and get her out of trying to work you as a customer and just shoot the shit with her. If you can turn the dynamic off of her being there to work and put you in the place of becoming a mark, which is exotic dancer language for a target, a person to take money from, if you can get her to not see you that way, and there's only two ways to do it, you win. You get a chance to have a conversation with her and talk to her for who she is. So the best opener is to, when she approaches you, for you to say, I'm not even in that headspace, and then get into your own opener. That soundbite, I'm not even in that headspace, is an awesome soundbite. It will make her see that, it allows her to see that you are not in the reality of being in the venue and enjoying the girls and the dances and the overpriced drinks. You're just on your own time in your own world, and you're not in the headspace for a dance. In fact, you have something better. Did you see the girls fighting outside? And boom, you're right there. So any opener really works as long as you can cut her thread and get back to your material. So the best opener is any of the ones that we went through in our online bootcamp. Lucky Luciano. I believe that is Logan. If it's Logan, any of the openers that we went through on the online bootcamp will work on a strip club. Just make sure that as the girls approach, you say, I'm not even in that headspace. My girlfriend would be pissed off if I got a dance here. You know, she used to work here. That way you instantly let them know that you're accustomed to being at that venue. If you want to be with an exotic dancer and you haven't yet, the best way to convey that you are a guy that gets exotic dancers is to tell them that you get exotic dancers. If you say, my ex-girlfriend used to be an exotic dancer, as long as it's congruent to you and the outside package that she sees and she can believe it, it will set off the pre-selection switch in her mind, and you all have already put yourself at a different category because you are not a customer. You're a guy that dates the girls. So don't be a customer. There are two types of people to exotic dancers. There are customers, and then there are everyone else. We want to be everyone else. We want her to treat us like she treats the bodyguard or the security guy that drove her that one time when her car crashed. We want her to treat us like the other bartender girls that are there. the one that she complains about freely because she can, and she doesn't have to put on the social work face and be so happy to be in the club. So that's what I want. I want her to treat me like she would treat her best friend right off the bat, and I do so by doing everything that I possibly can to not become a customer. As soon as money is exchanged in any form, you become a customer. So hopefully that answers that question. Hey Spencer, what's going on, man? Do you believe in half your age plus 7? I believe in girls that are intellectually profound. And luckily for me, that has always been older girls, just because I find myself more compatible with older girls because there's more intellect there to be shared. So I don't really consider those rules. I don't live in that reality. My thing is, if she's a cool girl and she normally, in my experience, has always been older, I can usually get off and get on with her mentally. So it always has worked out. So I can't really discuss anything about younger girls per se, just because that's never really been my thing. I've never really gone for young girls. It's just not my vibe. I don't really like it. I like a girl that's a bit more mature. So if you want to talk that, we can do it. But as far as like, you know, how young can we get the girls? Like, that's not a conversation to have with me at all. So yeah, let's move on. Mike, where the honeys at? Vegas. Vegas has the honeys, for sure. Just play some rock already. Yeah, I play happy music. Apparently it thinks that I am a 13-year-old girl, and that's what happy music is to me. So the echo is not perfect, and we know that now. Bolin says, you did such a good job on that podcast, bro. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I was trying to just be as honest and direct as I possibly can. That's what my students, the guys that work with me, know and expect from me. They expect that I keep it as real and as bullshit free as possible. So I tried to capture exactly that on that podcast. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for checking it out, Bolin. Where did you get your sweater at? I like it. I think I got this one in London. I'm not sure, but I think it was London. There's all these little shops. I don't go to the mall per se to buy clothes. If I'm at the mall and I see something interesting, fine, let's get it. But I don't go to the mall to shop. I kind of just look around, and as I'm moving around and taking other people through and showing them places, there are some shops around. I'll go in, and sometimes you'll find some cool stuff. And especially for me, I try to do more with less instead of like your traditional peacocking. I don't try to, put on so much. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it, because it fucking works, but I try to do more with less. So finding a cool sweater, t-shirt, jeans, boots, jacket, hats, all this kind of stuff, I try to do more with less. So finding things that keeps me under the radar, blending in, but also standing out in all the right ways. So, yeah, London, short answer. Let's see here. How do I handle freezing out before approaching? Well, you shouldn't, gotcha. The approach anxiety that you're feeling is what you're asking. 3-second rule. There's only one thing you can do. It's the 3-second rule. It's to say to yourself, as soon as I see a set that I know is going to be coming in the future, I'm going to take one step forward instead of taking one step back or not taking a step at all. I'm going to also prepare myself with material, something to say to this group or this person that I'm going to be approaching, so that I have it prepared already, so I'm not thinking, what am I going to say when the time comes? So prepare yourself with a couple openers. If you can get down to it, get yourself an entire stack of openers, stimulators, captivators, games, qualifiers, all these things. That way you're able to be flexible and play around and express your personality through routine. So having something prepared is gonna help you. And then as soon as you see a set, just walk over. There's no other way to really get through it. The best pickup guys I know fear the approach. They just tend to walk forward and have something to say, and then they get into set as soon as it starts to happen. You're never gonna get rid of approach anxiety. You'll just learn how to deal with what you have to deal with and then get the objective done, which is to open. So 3-second rule, get in there. That's it. Came across really knowledgeable and interesting. Podcasting as a format works well for me, I think, because you have so much to share. Yes, when they told me that the time was done and that we had covered the entire time, I was like, damn, I was only getting started. You know, I can fill time with knowledge for so long. I'm just so used to doing these boot camps. And for me, just being able to share as much as I fucking know to the next guy, to help him out and take away some of the pain and the journey and the learning curve that comes naturally with this game and getting good at it. That's kind of what I feel like I'm here to do. So I try my best to give you guys as much straightforward, to the point information. I don't try to hold anything back. And I'm glad that you guys definitely appreciate that and see that compared to everyone else. So awesome stuff. Difference between disqualifiers or negs. Well, both disqualifiers or negs at first are indicators of disinterest. They're IODs. So they're just a way for you to indicate that you're not interested. A disqualifier disqualifies you, as the name says, from becoming a potential suitor directly. So it's to say to someone like, well, I have a girlfriend, so no worries. Even though she hasn't elicited anything that would make you say that, you can just say it. Oh yeah, I have a girlfriend. And that would literally disqualify you because you have a girlfriend. A neg is, in a way for you to create a pang and start to build tension in the group. So you can say something like, oh, you're one of those. And it doesn't necessarily disqualify yourself from being a potential suitor by definition, but it disqualifies yourself from being a potential suitor in the way that it breaks rapport instead of tries to build it. So anytime that guys go into sets, they're always trying to build rapport and build connections and get along with people and do everything else, as opposed to the pro knows that in order for sets to go well, you have to break rapport so that you can then rebuild it. So it's the not being agreeable and not being in their frame and getting back to your material. All these things are going to help you. So a neg is going to disqualify yourself from being a potential suitor directly and saying, yeah, I have a girlfriend. She should be arriving in an hour. Done. That's going to disqualify yourself. A neg will throw a pang and create this tension of we're not getting along. It's an illusion of not getting along so that then you can get along. And with that said, your neg can be like, oh, you are off your rocker. It just creates tension. That's the difference between the two. Good question. Khaled, what's going on, man? Khaled attended a boot camp in Toronto with me last year. And according to him, it's paid off a lot. He's seen the world a lot differently since the boot camp. So awesome stuff, Khaled. Glad to see that you're doing the work. It always pains me when guys take boot camps or do online boot camps with me, and then I talk to them a month afterwards, 2 months afterwards, 6 months afterwards, and they haven't done the work. When really, fuck, man, if you just do the numbers and do the work outlined, you will get the skill set. It's simple as that. So Khaled, you're on your way. Keep opening the sets, and I know for a fact a guy like yourself is going to be killing it in field, for sure. And then we have the Edge Edmund. I know who that is. How are you, buddy? Hope all is well in Miami. Will girls be able to tell it's canned material, though? Don't you want to come across genuine? The girls will not know it's canned material so long as you believe in the material. If I believe that the girls fighting outside happened just now, they will as well. If I go in there with a scripted way, hey, did you see the girls fighting outside? Or if I talk really fast, hey, did you see the girls fighting outside? So these two girls that were fighting outside, it seems like it's pre-scripted. Now, if I say, oh my God, did you see those two girls fighting outside? Oh my God, these two girls, they're fighting outside. I'm walking in with my girls, right? The bouncer is just standing there. I'm just like, dude, sort that out, man. And he just walks over this big Freddie Flintstone dude, right? He grabs one of the girls. The other girl, she's free to go. She's just going away. It's a 2-on-1 fight at this point, right? All of a sudden, one of the girls reaches over, pulls the girl's top down. Now look, normally I'm like, welcome to Vegas. But this was one of those saggy, baggy boobies from National Geographic. It was the worst. End of routine. If I run it that way, there is no red flags in my delivery. Plus, you have to add in the fact that my body language is not telegraphing interest. I'm not facing the group. I'm not looking at them. I'm not turning my body towards them. I'm over the shoulder shooting the shit, throwing a comment out. So it doesn't look like I'm trying to talk to them. It just looks like I'm incidentally talking to them because I was going to get back to my friends anyways. So what really brings the material alive is the delivery. Guys always ask me, Colgate, how do I become an MPUA? How do I become a pro? How do I get really good at this game? Well, first of all, review the 5 elemental keys of the game. Number 1, structure. Do you understand the structure? Do you know what to do at each phase? Number 2, do you have the material to fill in that structure? Number 3, is your delivery popping in field? Is it impactful? Are people listening to you constantly? Do you open and then it just hooks constantly? If it's not constantly, consistently, these kind of words, and it's just a one-off, then you haven't mastered the art of opening, and you need to. It all starts at opening. You have to start at the open. So you have to get good at doing that. You have to get good at opening. Make sense? If you can get good at opening, you have a chance at the game. So delivery needs to pop, needs to be impactful. It can't be this conversational, mundane, next guy to talk to her shit. It has to be more. You have to be bigger than you for now. The next key, number of sets, volume and velocity, making sure that when you download a proper game plan and a way to approach this, that you get the amount of sets in just so that you desensitize from it, just so that you let go of any of the nonsense and all the society bullshit that's been getting into your head about how the game works. That all just diffuses away because you've gotten the amount of sets in to see what the world is. You know what happens when you open 1,000 sets? You see how humanity is. You see it for what it is. And you see that some people and most people behave in very similar ways. So you have to get those sets in. Velocity, volume and velocity. Number of sets, but also fast. You can't open 1,000 sets in a year. You have to open 1,000 sets in 3-4 months. Because the guy that opens 1,000 sets at the end of the year, he'll have learned half as much as the guy that opens 1,000 sets in 6 months. So open the sets. And then finally, the last key is instant coach feedback. Having somebody there, if you're looking for the top level, if you're looking for MPUA, you need a coach. You need somebody that knows what they're doing and that has helped guys along the way become pros. See, my thing is, I'm not trying to create coaches. I'm not trying to create more students. The test of a master is not in how many students he has. It's in how many masters he's created. Look at Mystery. Mystery has created a lot of masters. I'm going to do the same. The guys that I work with, the guys that are on long-term programs with me will reach the top. Some of them are starting to get there now in a relatively short time. So having a coach that knows what he's doing is going to shortcut your journey tenfold, if not more than that. So those are the 5 keys. Review the 5 keys. Make sure that you're accessing the right part of it and that you're focusing on the right elements of it and that you get the number of sets in, because without the sets, the material, delivery, all that stuff doesn't matter. Let's see here. I feel like peacocking isn't my style. I've tried it and it gets me in the door, but then I'm usually not that great at a combo with that. That's the thing. If you're peacocking very extremely and you're not talking to people, you're quickly the weirdo guy. If you're peacocking and you got 5 girls with you, you're quickly the cool guy. So there's a balance in how you do it and the best way to do it. Some guys go all out peacocking. Some guys tend to blend in more. Either way, what's gonna make the difference in people's eyes, in the room, in the venue's eyes, is if there's girls with you or if there's not. If you're being conversational or if you're not. There are guys in Vegas that peacock and walk around for hours and talk to nobody, and it makes them look weird to the point that people, locals in Vegas, know about them. You can mention it. You can say, you know the guy at this hotel that dresses like this? And they'll go, yeah, I've seen that guy plenty of times. Doesn't talk to anybody, just looks weird. So make sure that you balance it out with the social aspect as well. If you're dressing to blend in a bit more, not being in a set's not going to hurt you as much. But if you're dressing to stand out, you have to be in set. Simple as that. Let's see here. Yo, Colgate. Last weekend, I was talking to a girl, and it was okay, not amazing, but in the end, we slept with each other, but I didn't think it went great, but she found me at the end of the night. Not all pickups have to go perfect. Sometimes the girl is just really, really into you, and you can get away with bad behavior because she's really, really into you. Remember, we're learning the skills that we're learning so that we can shut off that boy-girl dynamic and have a chance of having a moment with somebody so that we can see if it's worth aligning with them. We're trying to also create interest and attraction throughout it. If interest and attraction are already there, sometimes bad behavior will still allow us to meet the phases. And when you meet the phases, then you can start sexual relationships. So sometimes it happens. 3-second rule requires not talking yourself out of it and having something interesting to say on the approach. Yes, 3 seconds means you don't count 1, 2, 3 seconds and approach. It means that within 3 seconds of seeing the group, something is coming out of your mouth to initiate the conversation. That's it. That's the difference. Just waving to you guys, saying hi to everybody. Colgate, what's your opinion when a girlfriend wants you know? Wait, Colgate, what's your opinion when a girlfriend... Oh, M. Botello, you're going to have to write that question again, man. Didn't understand it. God damn it, that's a weird way of looking at it. That's a weird way of looking at it. How you keep at it in the game while you are in a relationship with the girl. The game doesn't stop when you're in a relationship with the girl. See, most guys think that, oh, I'm going to do this to get the girl and then I can just forget about it. The truth is the game is even more on when you have a girl, because you have to demonstrate that you have social skills when you're out with her. You have to demonstrate that people are impacted in positive ways when you're out with her. If you go out with a girl, assuming that she's a good-looking girl, otherwise we wouldn't be having these conversations, you're going to get people approaching you. You're going to get guys approaching you. You're going to get other girls approaching you. You're going to get people that work at the venues, hire guns, being more friendly and having more conversations with you. And the way that you handle those dynamics and those interactions will set a precedence and will set a tone and paint a picture in her mind as to how you are. So unless you have the social skills to match certain girls, and from my experience, the highest value girls have a higher level of social savviness, they also appreciate that savviness. So if you can display it as well, it's different for her to be with a guy that can handle himself in that way. Most guys can't. This is one of the main reasons that no matter what, I will not be threatened by anybody, because yes, you're taller. Yes, you're more good looking. Yes, you have more money. Yes, whatever the case may be, there's going to be those guys for all categories for the rest of my life. And if I try to compete with those guys, I can never be satisfied. I can never be satisfied in competing with all those guys. So the reframe and the way that I look at it is that I capture things in a social aspect to make it worth overseeing any of that nonsense. And if you can capture things socially, if you can display your personality, convey your best self, be able to impact people with your words, then you're going to be all right. So consider that when you're in a relationship, the game doesn't stop. You still have to go out and convey that you're social. Wouldn't it be awesome if everywhere you went to with your girlfriend, people treated you differently? That's what I want to work for every place I go in this world, is that people treat me differently, they take care of me, and any girl that's with me is going to see that and see that it's a different way of rolling and moving about life than what she's had before. So you just got to keep at it. And you can open sets. Remember, it's easier to open sets when you're with a girl. So it's not to say you're going to close girls and that you have to keep girls on the side and you have to do all this stuff. You don't have to do any of that. It just means that when you're with your girlfriend, you can now approach groups and talk to them and shoot the shit and get to know people. I've met a lot of cool people while girlfriends were with me, whether at boot camp, non-boot camp. Sometimes you're out and there's cool people at the venue, surprisingly so. And as long as you approach, you're going to be fine and get to know them. Arvin, what's going on? Arvin, I will see you in a few weeks in Toronto. I'm looking very forward to it. Toronto presents a good practice ground to get some skills and get your game. So yes, Toronto is coming up. That's April 4th through the 7th. Another quip about the boot camps. I get a lot of inquiries, a lot of questions about guys wanting to know when boot camps are and things like that. The calendars are up. The boot camps that I offer are all there. Make sure that you guys are checking the website. You guys are checking the social media pages to get the information so that you guys can make decisions. Because a lot of the guys that email me, when they email me, they're ready to go. I don't do the back and forth talking. I have guys that are on a list that I will reach out to if opportunities present themselves, like if guys move boot camps forward or whatever the case may be. But overall, my boot camps sell pretty quickly. So if you want to do a boot camp, earlier is better than later to get on. Otherwise, you risk not having a seat because it is sold out. I don't do 200 guys in a room. My boot camps are very intimate. So make sure that you guys definitely sign up and get your deposits in so that you guys can relax. And I'm very open to having guys give me deposits and pay along the way until the boot camp to make it more affordable for them. As long as you guys can show me some sort of commitment, I am definitely willing to help make it affordable so that you guys get the skill set and you guys don't have to wait a year to get it right, 6 months to come up with the money, all this stuff. Talk to me and we can figure out a way. Ask any student that has ever worked with me. I'm always willing to give guys an advantage for the ones that are doing the work. So let me know. How important is inner game? Massively important. Very massively important. Let's see here. Seems like you turned everything into a learning experience. That's a great way to go about it. Yeah, I do. I turn everything into a learning experience. In fact, that's kind of the double-edged sword that comes with being who I am, is that I'm always willing to take a lesson from it. So whatever happens, whatever decisions get made, things go well, wrong, whatever it is, I'm always willing to take the lesson from it. I don't ever think that I'm fully there. Even at this level, I go into it as a student of the game, and I'm always trying to learn more and try to make it tighter and see how the world is and see how the people that are in that world are. And I try to adjust my things accordingly so that it's easier, instead of sticking to one way and thinking that, oh no, I'm a master, so I'm only going to do it one way. And then it just, with the times changing, it just doesn't yield favorable results. Dante, what's going on, buddy? Thanks, dude. Come to Costa Rica. Thanks for all. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Costa Rica. I love game. Yes, sir. Awesome. All right, guys. I'm going to be tuning off in a bit, so make sure if you have any last minute questions, send them through. It's been a good session. I've enjoyed it. Some good questions today. I'm trying to live in Toronto in the next couple of years, so hopefully you'll still be doing this in TO. in the next couple of years. Yeah, I imagine that will be the case. I think as I move further along, I will be offering less boot camps, less and less boot camps, trying to work with more and more of the right guys. I luckily have zero problems, honestly, for the most part, in finding awesome clients, guys that legit are in good places in their lives, with good headspaces, good mindsets, ready to work, ready to do what needs to get done. And that's an advantage that I have over all my colleagues and partners that I've worked with in the past, just because, God, man, the right guys just make it so much easier to just give it your all and to really get them to a certain level, as opposed to the guys that are coming in with all this sort of nonsense, convoluted thoughts and result-driven mentalities and all that stuff. So for me, if you're humble, you're coachable, you can check all your successes at the door and come in and learn and take it all in for what it is and give it a go, you're going to be fine and your world is going to change. So I know what I can do on my end, and as long as it's the right guys, then it usually works to very, very awesome results. So I want to keep that track record going. So selecting the right guys means not making it more available, but making it less available. So that's kind of where I'm going. I'd rather, work with the right guys more often. That's the ideal way of me doing this. It's so hard for me to create a lot of change and get guys to legit the levels that I want to get them at. Because as you know, if you know who I am, the levels are high. I don't fuck around like most people do. I legit go for the highest level of what's possible here. So to get guys to that level, it requires working long term. And some of those guys are on Skype programs, so I talk to them once a month, and they go out, do the work, report back. They send me sheets of every time they go out, and we have a very systemized way of getting guys good, even though we don't see each other live in person every month. So some guys are on Skype programs, and that's worked awesomely, so much so that Skype programs work so much that Mystery, who is always convinced that online boot camps were nonsense and that they couldn't work, are now doing them because he sees the benefits. So we've figured out a way to get guys going from online. And if you do an online boot camp, that will get you the training wheels, that will get you the game plan, but the monthly Skype sessions really keep guys accountable and keep them doing the numbers that are needed to be done. So that's awesome as well. The guys that are on long-term programs with me, I see them 3-4 times a year, which is awesome. Allows me to do a lot more. There's a helicopter above us, as you can hear. There's a helipad, a helicopter pad, literally down the street from where I live. So it's awesome. We get helicopters and airplanes all the time, and I think it's awesome. It reminds me that travel is there to be done, should you want it. But back to what I was saying. So for me, it's exactly that. I think that most guys, if you're just getting your feet wet, you're not going to get the results you want. You have to fully immerse yourself and really dive in and make commitment and work around logistics and really convince yourself that you have to go out on a Friday when it's cold or it's too hot or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of talking yourself into taking action that needs to happen with the game. With that said, I like to think of it as soon as the action is taken and you can feel good about it, things start to look up. And a lot of guys complain that, I don't have the money to do a boot camp. I don't have money to, start my business. I don't have money to take a trip once a year. And you have to ask yourself, not to say that it is, but maybe you can entertain the idea of maybe things aren't going the way you planned. Maybe you can't get your day off from your boss because you don't have the social skills to win people over and get them on your side to want to help you out. Because I don't want to live in a reality in a world like that where if I need a day off, I can't get it. That's weird. That's not an existence for me. So sometimes the social skills that are lacking play a role into other areas that are not the girls. And that's something that some of you need to consider, in that if the skill set is not there, you may not be maximizing the potential of what you guys could live like or could be doing in this life. So if that's the case, it makes it more important for you to practice and get the skills so that things can start to look up. And I guarantee you, with more skills, you'll have more results, you'll have more social interactions, you'll have more cool guys in your life, more cool girls in your life, you'll have more opportunities in your life. Things tend to get better when these sort of things are resolved. So, and if it doesn't get resolved, it pains you for a whole lifetime because you know that you could have gotten good. So, something to consider. Hopefully that's not getting too deep, but aside from that, I think all your questions have been answered today. I see that there's a few more that just came in. You do seem like you have a different approach from other PUAs. Oh, fuck, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that's why it works, really. In the shortcut answer, that's why it works. What do you do when she reacts negatively to a neg or disqualifier? If she's reacting negatively to a neg or disqualifier, that means you are negging and then waiting for a reaction as opposed to negging and then going. The neg is a throw and go. It's like you threw a pebble and then you continue talking. If you say, oh, you're one of those, and then you wait for a reaction, it becomes a thing. It's not funny. If you say, oh, you're one of those. So as I was saying the other day, and you get back to your story, it becomes funny. So don't wait for a negative response. Just keep your material going by getting back to it. Hello, 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 hello. Did you ever get negative reactions to your openers as an MPUA? Fuck, I would love to say yes and inspire you guys and do all that, but no, it does not happen. I would say I have about a 95% open rate with my openers. Sometimes it's just logistical things that I maybe didn't see or just didn't have in mind. Maybe it's late at night, I've had a couple drinks, so I'm not acknowledging certain aspects of things. But overall, even with bad behavior, sometimes sets blow wide open. And that's mostly because of the delivery and the in-the-moment aspect of the game that I have been able to capture so well. Anytime I run my openers, it's legit like matters right now. It just happened right now. It's now. So yeah, they open for sure. Awesome. This is a good educational video. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you tuning in. Jimmy, you just joined us, but however, this is coming to a conclusion. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate all the questions that you guys sent. This was a good one. I actually enjoyed this one. I like when there's more profound questions that can be asked instead of the basic ones, so that some of the guys that are a bit further in can also benefit from just non-basic conversation. Not to say that we overlook the basic conversation, because the basics and the fundamentals are key. But whenever there's questions asked that provoke a bit more thought out of me and make me want to dive in a bit more, I enjoy it. So keep the questions coming. If you didn't get a chance to ask your question or didn't get your question answered, keep sending them through. We'll tackle them next week, or I'll send you a DM with a response. And it's been a pleasure. I'm sure you guys will be going out this week. If so, make sure you practice the Thursday routine that I just put out. It's an awesome routine. It's worth putting into your stack because it works, especially with 2 sets or groups that have 2 girls in it, because it's a very good observational, almost cold read-like stimulator, and it just pumps up body temperature. So make sure to add it to your stack if you haven't yet. If you have it in there, make sure that you're capturing the delivery aspects of it, and you're gonna be fine. So that's something for you guys to add in. Tomorrow there's going to be an awesome post that I'm doing, so make sure you tune in for that. And then on Monday, finally, I have my indicators of interest article coming out on ASKCOLGATE.com. colgate.com/blog. So make sure you guys check that out because it's going to be a good one. It's going to teach you guys about indicators of interest and how to read them, how to tell fake ones from real ones, how to use them, why they're important, because it's worth knowing. So thank you very much for tuning in once again. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. I will see you guys next week. Definitely keep tuning in. Definitely keep sending me your questions. I appreciate it. Hello, Bernard. Again, I'm going to say a quick hello and then a quick goodbye because we're ending off. But tune in next week. I will be putting out a graphic of the time so you guys can put it down on your calendar. And we will meet each other again with more questions in the following week. Until then, guys, take care. I will talk to you guys very soon. Colgate out.